This week on Let's Fish TV, I'm here on Bell Cow Lake, just east of Oklahoma City. I've heard some really great things about this lake. I've heard there's some big bass and they're in shallow water in the summertime. It's gonna be hot, but I'm telling you one thing's gonna be hotter is the fishing. I'm telling you guys, we are gonna catch some bass today. Guaranteed gonna catch some nice ones. Let's Fish TV is on the air right now.
That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southeast region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
This week on Let's Fish TV, I'm here on Bell Cow Lake, located just about 35 minutes east on I-44 from Oklahoma City. This lake is just over 1,000 acres and has a ton of shoreline vegetation and flooded timber and stumps. One thing I've heard from a lot of the locals here is this place has a lot of really big fish. This is the first time I've ever been to this lake, but one thing I know is this place has them and I'm gonna go figure out how to catch them. We'll also have this week's fishing reports from your local region from our insider reporters. And this week we're fishing out of the Low Stinger 198 bass boat. One thing I really love about this bass boat, it's an aluminum bass boat, but it has a huge deck. So if you have a couple guys that are fishing with you, your buddies are out there and you're fishing down the bank, you have places to fish and all three of you can get on the front deck and have plenty of space to cast and have a good time out there on the water. In the meantime, I'm gonna get this boat hooked up, get it in the water, and I'll toss it back to the studio for your weekend planning.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Let's Fish. The Salooner tables are predicting excellent game fish activity Saturday and good activity Sunday. Peak game fish activity begins about midday around 12:09 Saturday and 1:05 on Sunday. Nighttime action will begin around midnight on Saturday and 12:34 on Sunday. Depending on your area, expect the sun to rise around 6:29 and set around 8:40. Nights will be dark with a new moon this weekend. We'll be right back to check all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area, and I will return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Jamie Hartman on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stick with us.
Today on Bell Cow, we're gonna be fishing in shallow water in the middle of the summer. We're gonna debunk all those myths about catching fish in the shallow water, and we're gonna catch them today. Swimming jigs, throwing frogs, doing all kinds of shallow water techniques to put these fish in the boat. We have those optimal conditions in the summertime. It's gonna be really hot, 95 degrees today, but we're gonna have some wind, and wind is always your friend in the summertime. Meantime, I'm gonna go and toss a commercial break, and I'm gonna get to fishing.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. Power Pole, Total Boat Control. Visit Mississippi. Good times are close by. Low Boats, 50 years of boating craftsmanship. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
Big one. Oh, big one. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go. Oh. Good one. Oh my gosh. Oh, big one. Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go.
Oh, man, what a bite right there. Ooh, look at the shoulders on that one. Welcome to Bell Cow. This lake has them just like this. Whenever you're flipping around this water willow, this is the kind of results that you can expect. You know, today I started out this morning, I've never been to Bell Cow before, but I started out the morning and I was actually fishing swim jigs, frogs, spinnerbaits. I was covering a lot of water, wasn't having that success. And that's what you're gonna run into in the middle of the summer, is that some days just aren't that good. That's when you gotta really slow down, pick up your flipping bait, and start pitching in the heaviest vegetation you can get your hands on. And that is the kind of results you're gonna get. You slow down in the summertime. You can start out the mornings fishing fast, fishing quick, but as that sun comes up, as it gets hotter, those fish are gonna suck to that cover, and those are the kind of results. Now, when flipping this stuff, you've got to really put it up in there. You got to put it up in the middle of that stuff to get these kind of quality of bites. And you got to have the right gear too. And we're going to talk about that here in just a little while. But man, what an awesome fish catch. And I mean, I thought it was like a 6-pounder. We've all been there though, right? We've all had those times where we hooked that fish and we're like, man, that's like a 5 or 6-pounder. You see it flash. If that fish would have come off, guaranteed 5-pounder. But still, nonetheless, this is a really nice, like 3.5 pound fish. This is really good quality, especially in the summertime, and it proves that you can catch them shallow in the summer.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama fishing report. It's brought to you by Experience Paris. You know, Paris in Henry County in Northwest Tennessee is one of the most diverse places you can go if you're an outdoorsman. Not only is there great hunting, great fishing, tons of activities, tons of events, dining, shopping. There's also incredible fishing, hunting, boating, hiking. It is really the one-size-fits-all for the outdoorsman and the family man who wants to take a trip. Go to Experience Paris, Tennessee, and you'll come back again. Hey, speaking of experiences, let's talk for a minute about where's the best place you can experience some good fishing in this region. Right now in Alabama, it's Neely Henry. I don't talk about Neely Henry a lot. It's actually not a place that lines up really well with how I like to fish, but they're catching them there. Shaky head is really good there right now, and swim jig is king at Neely Henry, and they are biting right now. In Mississippi, it's Ross Barnett. Ross Barnett is one of the most underrated bass fisheries in the country. Primarily shallow, buzzbait, spinnerbait, chatterbait kind of deal, but they are just a really consistent lake day in and day out. And in Tennessee, I tell you what, right now, I'm gonna throw one out there that I don't normally throw out there, and we're gonna go to Center Hill, and we're going at night. I mentioned Center Hill a couple times a year. It's one of my favorite places, but the nighttime bite is on fire right now. So guys, all you gotta do is get down here, have yourself a good time, be safe on the water, and we'll see you when you get here. God bless you.
Oh, there we go. Oh, gosh, another good one. There we go. Whoo, finally. Guys, let me tell you one thing about Bell Cow. These fish are piled in this water willow. I barely had that fish hooked, barely got him in. One thing that I've noticed today, we're dealing with a full moon, and that's one thing that I knew coming into this thing, that the fishing might get a little tough. I actually think these fish might be spawning. I mean, I could be wrong, but the way some of these bites have been happening today, I've lost some really big ones. And I truly think that some of these fish are some really late spawners. And I think a lot of it has to do, and it's basically happened all over the South, is that really cold winter that we had this year. You know, we had that big ice out, and I think it really affected these fish. Now, one thing I want to tell you though, is when dealing with these fish, especially fish that are running really fast, that one when he ate it, just started taking off to the side, is you need a very quick reel. When I'm flipping water willow, especially water willow, I'm using an 8:3-to-1 gear ratio reel. I've actually been using the new Team Loose Pro SP, which is a skipping and pitching reel. And it has a real shallow spool, so you don't waste a lot of line when you're spooling up. And I think that's a really big deal, because when you're flipping, you're not gonna use a lot of line. So 40 yards line is plenty. And that's about how much this holds, a 25-pound test, tour grade fluorocarbon, and that's exactly how I'm catching these fish. When I flip it in there, I'll hop it one time, my line just starts streaking to the side. I can catch up with them with that 8-to-1, and I'm gonna catch nice bass just like that. I'm gonna get back out there because I have to catch me one more bass. Oh man, choked it. Look at that, guys. I mean, he destroyed that rage bug. Oh, big one. Oh my gosh. There we go. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Oh man, choked it. Look at that, guys. I mean, he destroyed that rage bug. You know, I made a little color change when I got here. I started out flipping black and blue, and I'm telling you, that was not working. When you look at this watercolor, it's that Oklahoma dirty. It's that red dirt. When I first saw this color of water, I was like, man, that's black and blue water, that's white swim jig water, but I was wrong. When I started flipping around, I could see my bait way too good, and I started seeing some flash of bluegill up in that grass. And I said, I've been there before. I picked up that Okeechobee crawl rage bug, started flipping it in and around that cover. Game on, guys. And what I did though, is I increased my weight size. So I was flipping a quarter, I was having some pretty good success. And what I ended up doing though, is I actually went to a 1/2 ounce. So when I'm flipping in really cold water, I like to flip a lighter weight. But as the water warms up, I go to heavier and heavier because it creates those reaction strikes, and that is how you're gonna put more fish in the boat, especially size like this.
Hey folks, it's time for your Carolinas Report. This week brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina, the leader in water sports along the Grand Stream. Come down and let us take care of all your needs on the water. Visit www.crazysistermarina.com. Come down, check out our charters, inshore, nearshore, offshore. Come rent a boat, do it yourself. We got eco tours, kayaks, paddle boards, whatever you want to do on the water. We can help you live like a local while you're in town. Again, visit crazysistermarina.com and book your trip right now. We're going to talk about freshwater this week. Let's go to Santee, Lake Marion, Lake Moultrie. Actually, the diversion canal between the two. If you're looking for some steady action with stripers in the morning and late afternoon, you can find it right there in the diversion canal. Pretty simple. Whopper plopper, Zara spooks, top dogs, anything you can walk the dog with or make some action on top. You're going to find some great catches right now of some good fish this time of the year, and get out and enjoy that extended year-long limit where we can take our stripers out of the Santee Lake system now thanks to the changes in regulations. But let's go up to Lake Murray. Cool water, that's what you're looking for if you want to find a largemouth bass right now. Go up to the Saluda River where it starts dumping down into the lake. Bridge pilings, great areas, deep water. You're going to find that cooler water down there. You find bait, you're going to find fish right now. Hey, they're looking for cool spots just like we are. This has been your Carolinas Report. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Lose. Feel the difference. Waypoint Customs. Customize your boat your way. Strike King. Tie one on. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Fishing Specialties. Makers of the premier mount assembly for live sonar.
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, he was running out just like that other one was. All right, guys, today on Bell Cow, what we're doing is flipping little differences in the grass, and this is kind of what we're fishing. This is what you call water willow. And what I'm doing is I'm taking this rage bug and I'm pitching it just inside the edge, and I'm trying to find little holes and differences in the grass. Now, granted, today they seem to be more on the isolated stuff. So you see how this is all kind of together. And then you got this random little clump right here. They kind of seem to be on that. Maybe not so random as that, but you know, just something that sticks out, something a little different. Maybe this little patch here. And I'll flip all around it, and I'll flip in the middle of it, and you don't really know where the bite's gonna come from, but it's always gonna be in that little bit deeper water willow. Oh yeah! Oh gosh, there we go, man. Woo! Man, every time I get a flipping bite, I think it's a giant one. It's not a bad one, obviously. Another nice rage bug bass. Guys, this is one of my favorite lakes I've ever been to. This is a grueling lake. It has a lot of shallow cover, a lot of different options. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, guys, this is where they live. When you get up in this real shallow grass, This is where these bass live. One thing you have to really take into account is what you're flipping, because if you just flip everything that you see, you're gonna spend way too much time flipping stuff that there's no fish on. And every day it might change, but if you really pay attention to where every single bite that you have comes from, 9 times out of 10, that is gonna produce a fish every single time you get to that piece of cover.
Flounder fishing is really starting to pick up along the southeast coast, and the trout are on fire too in some places. I'll be right back with all the fishing details, but first, this is from our good friends at Fourshore Transportation, the simple solution to all your freight hauling needs. Fourshore can ship freight across the country or across the state. Whatever the load, wherever the destination, Fourshore gets it done fast, safe, and hassle-free. In southeast Georgia, prime fishing for flounder is going on right now, according to my good buddy Tim Cutting. He works out of St. Simon's Island. He's catching lots of very, very nice flounder. Most of these fish are going from 1.5 pounds up to 4 pounds. He's doing some kind of specific things, fishing those coastal waters out of St. Simon's Island and then toward the mouth of the St. Mary's River on the Florida-Georgia line. But he fishes around shell bars and flooded brush. The jetty areas can be very good too, any kind of docks, that sort of thing. But Tim's very specialized fishing with jigs. He uses a 4-inch gulp swimming mullet, but you could also use live mud minnows or mullet, or any type of small fish that you can put on, or even a strip. They all work real well. But Tim, what he does, he's fishing, he says the flounder move up and down with the water column. As the tide comes in, the fish move shallow. As the tide goes out, they move a little bit deeper. He says that 2 to 4 foot range is their comfort level. If you can find this kind of places on drop-off areas or along shell bars or rock rubble or brush, that tends to be key. He'll start fishing with very lightweight jigs, sometimes as light as 1/16 ounce up in the shallows. He doesn't want those jigs to hang up. He wants to kind of just keep them slithering across the bottom, keep moving at all times. And then as the tide gets stronger and he's fishing deeper water, he goes to heavier jigs to keep the lures down near the bottom, but he doesn't want them just laying on the bottom. Also, they're catching pretty good numbers of spotted sea trout over in Alabama. My good friend Jake Marcus says the wind's been kind of tough, but he runs to shallower areas out of the wind, gets out and wades, catching lots of 2 to 4 pound spotted sea trout. Also, triple tail fishing is improving all the time on Mobile Bay. You need bright sunny days, and it's calm. That will get better right on through the summer. They're also catching some triple tail over in Mississippi. You fish in the same kind of areas, buoys and channel markers, that sort of thing. Watch for fish around ships and also at the mouths of passes. In Georgia, they're also catching a few, but that triple tail fishing tends to be waning down a little bit. Well, that's it throughout the southeast coast. Get out on the water. Remember to take a youngster with you when you go.
Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, he was running out just like that other one was. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Oh, man, look at the size of that one. Another bell cow chunk. Guys, this lake is located just east of Oklahoma City, not very far, about a 35-minute drive, and it has nice bass in it. We're middle of the summer, and we're still catching bass like this, flipping heavy vegetation. What I came out here to prove today was even in the middle of the summer, doesn't matter, you can still catch nice bass like this up shallow. You don't have to go scour the ledges. You don't have to have the fanciest of electronics. The next time you're on the water, if you're fishing in the summertime and you're trying to catch those bass shallow, keep an open mind. Don't get stuck on 1 or 2 things. Try to change it up to catch more bass. I think that's a pretty good wrap on this show, guys.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury. Go boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Motor Guides Tour Pro with GPS Anchor. The tour is back. Blazer, high-performance boats for high-performance anglers.
So glad you're back. It's time now for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Donald would like to know, what are a few tips for locating bass offshore? For an answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Jamie Hartman.
Have yourself a good set of Lowrance graphs up there, side scan, down scan, good map, C-map if you can from Lowrance, and it gives you all the details, but really finding in once you get to where they're like setting up, start making that a pattern and keep looking at those areas all across the lake. You run over them fish, they'll show up on the side scan, and then just kind of do repetitive all through the lake and just trying to figure out where they're holding. And then when it comes tournament day, you got them narrowed in, you know where to pull up, make that cast, and hopefully they chew for you.
Thanks so much, Jamie. If you have a question for one of the pros, visit our website, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send it on in. Now let's check out the latest Big Catch of the Week winner.
It's time for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. This week's winner is Clayton Greer of Monroe, Georgia, with his 8-pound, 2-ounce largemouth bass he caught at Lake Sinclair, Georgia. To enter the contest, go to letsfishtv.com and click on the Big Catch box on the home page and follow the instructions. Or post your photo on last Tuesday's Big Catch post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/letsfishtv. You could have your big fish shown here on our show.
Here's today's Right Stuff, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Today on Bell Cow Lake, I was basically one rod Todd. I went out there with a game plan in mind and completely did a 180. I went out there swim jigging, throwing a popping perch, and it just wasn't happening until I picked up the Rage Bug. If you've watched me before, you know I love flipping a Rage Bug. It's definitely a confidence bait of mine. But one thing that I did differently on my Rage Bug this time is, in comparison to past shows, is I actually went to a really heavy weight. I went to a 1/2 ounce Strike King tungsten weight. And that's because I was flipping in and around heavy cover, but also I was creating that reaction strike by dropping that Rage Bug in and around that cover and making it have a really quick fall, causing those fish to eat it. I saw some bluegill in the water, changed my color up to Okeechobee Crawl. It looked just like those bluegill, and man, it made those bass chomp. The rod I was using was a 7.5 foot heavy action Custom Pro luge rod. This rod right here is my go-to when flipping really heavy cover. I paired that up with a Team Lose Pro SP. This is the new shallow skipping and pitching reel. This is the one that I prefer when I'm pitching heavy cover. Doesn't matter if it's braid, fluorocarbon, does not matter. Today though, I was flipping 25-pound test tour grade fluorocarbon because the way I see it, guys, if I'm gonna hook that big girl, I wanna get her in the boat, and my line's never gonna fail me if I flip that really big stuff. Today, guys, I was fishing out of that Low Stinger 198 aluminum bass boat. And you know, when you come to a lake like Bell Cow, this thing is full of timber, so aluminum boat definitely comes in handy. But one thing that I really like about this Low Stinger is the spacious live well. This thing is humongous, and it's one solid live well. You can put a divider in it, but just so your everyday fisherman, if you catch that lunker that you're after and you want to throw it in the live well to take pictures of it, this thing is really big. It can hold a really giant fish. I mean, I think I could fit a 15, 16 pounder in there if I tried. You can fill it up with water. It's gonna keep that fish alive, guys, and that's one thing I love about this Low Stinger 198. Thanks for joining us here on Let's Fish TV. I hope you learned how to find and catch them here on Bell Cow Lake. Until next time, I'll see you on the water.